And now the intention of this opening pose is to ground your energy and quieten the brain. So there's a little bit of pressure there at the third eye, which is incredibly soothing for the nervous system. Position your arms wherever you feel comfortable. Be careful that your shoulders are not crunched up towards your ears. Have some length there in your neck. And just bring the arms wherever you feel comfortable. Now you're going to find your breath, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And I want you to feel the expansion of the ribs as they expand into the floor. So as you inhale, feel the ribs expand and the breastbone expand into the floor. Please don't try too hard. If there's one message I'd like to share about the gift of yoga, is we don't need to try too hard. That usually involves a sense of gripping and overwork. So invite that expansion, but don't try too hard. Can you relax your fingers? And just relax the muscles in the front of the face. We just have 3 more breaths here. And as you rest in your breath, I'd like to remind you that yoga is for everyone. There should be no pain, but there should be work. Now from this position, tuck your toes under, slide your hands down so you can push yourself up and just come to kneeling. Notice how that feels in the front of the face. Notice how that feels in the forehead and the energy. There should be an instant sense of calm and grounding. We're going to begin today releasing the hips. So where the support already is, just kneel upon it, please. And we're going to use the chair to start. So have that chair at the end of your mat and bring your right leg forward. Bring the chair inwards. Anurasana, high lunge. You're going to bring yourself into what I call the proposal position. And that means that the head is stacked over the hips. That front knee, you can squeeze that in towards the chair. Press down, please, into the right foot. And just start with your hands on your bottom. You're just gripping that knee in towards the chair, just so you have that little element of stability. Draw your shoulder blades towards each other and lean back until you feel that stretch rise up the thigh and through the hip. Keep pressing down into the mound of the big toe on the right foot, please. Shoulder blades drawing towards each other. Good. Now you're going to change the angle of stretch, where you're going to move the body forward now, You're going to let the hip drop down and you're going to bring your hands to the chair. Now just take a quick check of that front knee. It's really important that the knee's over the ankle and you're not pushing forward on that knee. If you're not liking how it's feeling on the back knee, then maybe just change the angle of that back leg, or maybe add a little bit of extra support under the knee. Now draw the shoulder blades towards each other, and you're going to try and get the breastbone more prominent than the arm bones. So usually the arms hang forward. So arm bones move back, breastbone moves out. Good. Now press down into the front foot and drop a little bit lower, and now try and get your elbows on your chair. So this is a long hold on this hip flexor, the psoas major. And the wonderful thing about this muscle group is that it originates from all the lumbar vertebrae, and then it inserts through the pelvis into the head of the femur. So by stretching it on a daily basis, you have a positive impact on the health of your lower back and also on your knees. Now release and come on up. You might feel a little bit stiff there in the hip after that long stretch. That's a good thing. Change over. Bring the left leg forward, please. Knee over ankle. You're going to start in that proposal position. I'm going to invite you to squeeze your left knee in towards your chair. So there's a little bit of a connection between the inner knee and the chair. Hands are going on the bottom. Fingers point down, elbows squeeze towards each other. Grip the bottom, press your hip towards the chair. Keep squeezing that left knee in to the chair. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and feel that stretch rise through the front of the thigh into the hip. Keep the squeeze on the bottom. Good. Now change the angle of the stretch by taking the body forward and dropping the back hip down. If when you drop the hip down, if that knee pushes too far forward over your foot, can you please just lengthen the stride? Drop down, hands on the chair, draw the arm bones back, breastbone prominent, squeeze that bent knee in towards the chair. Say, I love my hip flexors. They're such an important muscle group. You really should stretch them every day. And then go forward, drop the hip. Again, watch that front knee. If the knee's gone forward over the toe, you need to just widen your legs, please. Chest is up. Opening the hip. We store a lot of energy in the hips. So we're going to release them so we can release your power. Good. And then push back. And now I'm going to do downward facing dog. It's not very often I start with a dog, but we are today. If you have issues in your shoulders and you're not doing downward dog, you're going to do child's pose instead, but it will be an active child's pose for you. If you're going to do downward dog, clear your mat. Everybody's set up exactly the same. So if you're not doing dog, come and join me. We'll set up the same way. Knees are apart, sit your hips back and stretch your arms forward as far as you can without bending the elbows. Stretch, lengthen, stretch, lengthen. Good. Now, if you are going into dog, you'll move to the next cues. If you're staying here, keep working on your length. From here, bring yourself to hands and knees. You should feel quite long. Press your fingers into the ground. The flash of the thumb into the ground, and I want your shoulders away from the ears, please, so that we have a long neck. Tuck the toes under. Keep this length. Now, push your hands into the ground as if your life depends upon it. Squeeze your arms straight. Bend your knees, lift your hips up. Push your hands into the ground. Straight arms. Please don't bend those elbows. Now drive the chest towards the thigh bones. Please don't bend the elbows. Knees are still bent. Squeeze the arms straight. Now from here, lift your buttocks up nice and high and press the thigh bones away. You should feel long in your dog to the point where your heels may not be touching the floor. The most important thing, team, is that your arms are straight so that you're protecting the neck. Straight arms, press into the flesh of your thumb, press into your fingers. Same cues if you're staying in child's pose. Straight arms, straight arms. Then come up onto your toes, bend your knees, come on down. Just sit back and relax into child's pose for a moment, please. Head down, relax the arms. And then come on up. Standing position now, please. And we're going to use the chair and the strap. So today's practice is quite powerful. The intention is to move your energy to invigorate you. Often we feel sluggish, the weight of the world brings our energy down. If we can be active and we can move, you can help to invigorate yourself. So the last thing we want to do is carry on feeling sluggish. Facing your chair, you have your strap. You're going to take your right leg up on top of the chair, and you have to be in a position whereas the right leg can be straight and the left leg is directly underneath your hip. So what that means is if I'm too close, I won't be able to straighten the leg. And if I'm too far, I'm going to be lunging, and that's not good. So left leg straight under the hip, right leg on the chair. Take your strap and just place it across the back of the right foot. Good. So now from here, stand up nice and tall and draw those shoulder blades towards each other. So lengthen your strap so that you can draw the arm bones into neutral. That's really, really important. Mine's in a loop today. You don't need yours in a loop. So draw the arm bones back, breastbone more prominently, arm bones. Now squeeze the standing leg, pull the thighs up. Pull the thighs up. Squeeze the standing leg. Shoulder blades together. Now there's an element of balance in this pose. It's wth Padangusthasana. So I want you to drop your right hip down, draw your navel in towards the back of the spine. Eyes look straight ahead, focus on a point. And all you're going to try and do is lift your right leg up off the chair and then back down. Up off the chair, then back down. You're going to do that 4 times. Then back 1 more. And release. Now, you're going to lift it up and hold it up. And if you're not liking how it's feeling, then use a wall for support around you. This is stability training for your hips and your buttocks. Really important, especially as we age, and especially because we live in a climate where the ground is often slippy. Pull the muscles of your standing leg into the bones. Draw the navel back, arm bones back, focus your eyes on a point, lift the leg off the chair. And release and lower it down. Take the leg down. This hip should be a little bit fatigued. That's your buttock, your glute med. Fabulous muscle group. Change over. Left leg on the chair. Position your right leg so it's straight under your hip. Square your hips towards the chair. The standing leg, it can be, the toes will be slightly turned out. Just find what makes you feel stable. But face your chair, leg is forward. Position your body so you've got great upper body posture. Arm bones back, breastbone forward. Navel scoops in and up. Squeeze the muscles of the standing leg deeply into the bones. Look at some point on the wall so you keep your eyes still. And then just begin to lift and lower the left leg 4 times. How is your stability on this hip? 1 more. And release. This time you're going to lift it up and keep it up. What do you need to achieve that? Feel free to have your back on the wall, a hand on the wall, whichever works. Abdomen in, eyes still. Squeeze the standing leg. Lift the left. And release. Super. Bring that down, face forward now. Uttita Padangusthasana again, but this time number 2, which means lateral out to the side. So now I'm going to have my right foot on the chair, and I've got my, sorry, this is your left, isn't it? My right, your left. So your left foot on the chair, toes are facing up, your body is facing me. That in itself is a hip opener, and that for some of you will be enough. You might not need to go anymore. Hold on to the strap. Bring the posture through that chain. Press into the feet, pull the thighs up, stand nice and tall, shoulders in the back body. Now, that outer hip, don't let it swing out. Outer hip in, thigh muscle up. Eyes focus on the ceiling, and then you're attempting to lift that leg up and down 4 times. Squeeze the standing leg. Now feel free, you might need to put your hand on the wall. There's no judgment and there's no extra points for suffering. Last one, and release. Now can we lift it up and hold it up? So squeeze the thigh, focus the eyes on something still, and then see whether you can lift that leg. And release. Changing over, I'm going to bring the chair to the other side. Uttita Padangusthasana. I'm going to have my left leg up. Remember, you don't have to lift. You're welcome to just work from this position. Square your hips now. Square your shoulders. Put your hand on the wall if you need to. Draw the thigh up towards the hip. Draw the abdomen up towards the breastbone. Stand with great posture. Squeeze that hip in. And then just do your 4 lifts. Belly button in, eyes stay still. You can do, the arm can go out to the side if that helps to counter your balance. Whatever works for you. And release. Now we're going to attempt to lift it and hold it. So again, if you want to counter the balance with the arm out to the side, that works. Squeeze the thighs, lift the abdomen, lift the leg, and hold. And release, lower that down. Super. Strap down on the floor now. Ukatasana next is the first pose, the chair pose. We're going to start with your folded towel between your thighs and your knees. So your folded towel between your thighs and knees, please. And then your feet as close together as they can manage with that towel between your legs. Lengthen your spine, please. Stand into your heels, find your Tadasana mountain pose. Lift the knees, lift the thighs, lift the abdomen. Lengthen the abdominal wall. Bring your arm bones so that they're sitting in neutral and your arms should end up mid-thigh. If your arms are hanging forward on the front of your thigh, that tells us that we're not using our upper posture. So draw the shoulder blades back, extend the fingers down the sides of the thigh. Tadasana. Now grip the towel so nobody can take it away from you. Inhale, arms go up, wth Drop your shoulders away from the ears and feel the energy of the pose. Open your fingers. Squeeze the arms straight. If there's any concerns in your neck or your shoulders, take your arms wider or take the arms lower. Now, inhale. As you exhale, bend your knees, squeeze on the towel, and sit back into your hips and into your heels. Try not to let those shoulders go up to your ears. Shoulders down, away from the ears. Utkasana, the face pose, or the chair pose. Squeeze the towel. Grip, grip, grip. Let the abdomen draw back and the shoulders go down. Straight arms. Inhale up. Exhale down. Isn't that lovely? Should we do that again? Grip the towel. Strong, strong, strong. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to sit back into your heels. Squeeze the towel. That's providing support and stability. Shoulders away from your ears. Utkasana, the face pose. Strong, strong energy moving pose. Then inhale, come on up. Exhale down. Take your folded towel. Place it on the floor. Stand on top with just your heels on the towel and your toes on the floor. So I'm standing at slight elevation. And I'm going to bring my feet together. Feet together. Heels on the towel, toes on the floor. Squeeze the legs together, pull the thighs to the hips, lengthen the abdominal wall. Inhale, Urdhva, arms reach up, pull your ribs in. Exhale, squeeze the knees together, bend the knees, sit back and down. Pull the abdomen in. Straighten the arms. If there's issues in the shoulders, put your hands on your waist. Squeeze the legs together. You should feel you can sit lower because we've elevated your heels. Push down into your heels, come on up. Exhale down. I'm going to try that again. Moving that energy. Draw the thighs together, lift the thighs up. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, squeeze the knees together, sit back and down. Sit into the heels, squeeze the knees, squeeze the thighs, shoulders away from the ears. Should feel fabulous. Push down into your heels, come on up and release. Great. Now, widen your feet. So your feet will now be about the width of your own hip. You still have your heels on the towel. This is just giving you a little assistance at the ankle because most of our and movement patterns that look like a squat, they're limited by ankle mobility. So we're supporting that today. Toes on the floor, heels on the towel, pull the thighs up, bring the energy up, awaken those legs. Inhale, bring your hands into prayer. Got you. And then press your hands together and sit back and come down into a functional squat. So a parallel squat here. The bottom goes back. The bottom goes back. The weight is in that heel. Now, can you get the bottom to drop down where it becomes no pressure now in the thigh and actually turns into a little stretch for the lower back? So if you're trying to hold your body here, your thighs are going to scream at you. If you can sit into a functional squat, you'll bring the elbows on the inside of the knees. It should be achievable for you with these heels up on this blanket, and it should not be painful. If there's pain in the knees and there's discomfort, then you're just going to take a break. Now, for those of you who are here, you're going to tip forward and you're going to put your hands on the floor. Now look at the arms, they're on the outside of the upper arms, and you're going to squeeze those knees into your arms. Squeeze the arms into the knees, just stay there. Beautiful. Then come back to your heels. Now here's your work. Push into your heels strongly and come all the way up to standing. Everybody okay? We've got to do it again. My only advice to you is allow those knees to move naturally through the hip, which means they will open slightly as you go down and as you come up. So, feet on the floor. You can have your toes slightly turned. They don't have to be completely parallel. Press your heels into the floor. Pull your thighs up to your hips. Bring your hands to prayer. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, sit back, sit down. And then if you can, get that bottom down. Heels are up on the blanket to give you that assistance. If you're not all the way down, stay in your squat and just take a break when your legs are fatigued. Now, if you're down here, tip from that hip. Put your hands on the floor. Now, squeeze those knees into your arms. Squeeze those arms into your knees. Really important. Press your hands down into the floor. You're going to hinge yourself forward and you're going to be on your tippy toes now. Press the elbows into the knees. Press the knees into the elbows. And some of you might be able to lift your toes off the floor. That's only going to happen if those elbows are pressing into your knees and your knees are pressing into your elbows. Toes on the floor. Heels go back onto the blanket. Push into your heels, really important. Push down into the heels, bring yourself up. You either love me or hate me right now, but we've got to do it one more time. You modify it, and even if you're just putting your hands on the floor and doing some functional weight bearing, that's a great thing. Okay, so Utkasana into Bakasana. Toes can be slightly turned out. Pull the thighs up. Bring the hands to the heart. Inhale. Exhale. Sit back into your hips. Let your bum go back. Bum go back. Sit down. Get your elbows on the inside of your knees if you can. Sit the bottom down so there's no pressure on the thighs here. Squeeze the elbows into the knees, but most importantly, squeeze those knees into the elbows. They're very, very secure. If you're in a half squat, take a break when you need to. Now from here, tip forward, put your hands on the floor, and you're going to try and spread your fingers, tip the body weight forward so you bear a little bit of weight in the hands. Squeeze the elbows into the knees, squeeze the knees really tight into the elbows, and you might be able to lift your toes off the floor, Bakasana. It's all about the connection of the elbows and the knees. Fingers are spread. and release. Bring the toes to the floor. Get the heels on the blanket. Push down into your heels and inhale. Come all the way up. Lovely jubbly. Taking the feet off the towel. I'm going to make a use of the chair. So you're going to take the chair and turn it around. It's on your right side if that's okay. And you're going to bring your right foot in front of your chair. Step your left leg back. So nice wide leg. Right toes turned out. Left toes turned in. If you could just check the span of your legs for the safety of your knees and your lower back, they do need to be as wide as your arms, please. Bring the shoulders down. Lift the heart. Now, press your left foot really firmly down into the floor and bend your right knee. And as you bend your right knee, press that knee back towards the chair. Press that knee back towards the chair. Your body faces me. Now, I'm going to adjust the chair so it comes in just underneath my thigh. And I'm going to put my thigh onto it. So I'm sat in the chair. However, I'm not sitting back. I've just got the edge of the chair underneath the right thigh. It's just so I can hold it here longer and work on that hip mobility. Press down, please, into that left foot. Press that left leg away. It's really important that the left leg is strong and that you don't just kind of hang out sitting on the chair. Lift the heart. Press that right thigh back. It should feel really nice, active, but with some support. Then press down into your feet, really firm to bring you up. Turn your toes, feet together. You have to do it on the other side. So chair, over to the left side, please. Left leg in front of it. And I don't know whether it was for you, but for me, my chair was I ended up pulling it in, so I just kind of got this nice round edge of the chair underneath the thigh. So I'm just going to angle it like that now. I can adjust it once I get down. So left leg now turned out. You've got that nice width of your legs. It should be the same width as your arms. Shoulders in your back body. Press down into your right foot on the outside of the foot. So just so that leg doesn't collapse. Press down into the outside of the foot. Lift the heart. Inhale. As you exhale, you're going to bend your left knee. You drop your hips, but you lift your heart. Now, as you bend that left knee, you just bring that chair in. So it just goes underneath that nice meaty section of your thigh. So you can maybe sit on it with the thigh. Not my bottom, I'm not sitting back. Press the feet to the floor. Lift the heart. Press that left thigh back. Lift the heart. Squeeze that right leg. What I'm hoping you're feeling is that nice expansion in the front of your hips. As we really move the energy around the body today to invigorate you. From your feet to your toes, we've gone all the way through the chain. Press the feet firmly down, open the heart, push into both feet and bring yourself up. Turn your toes, bringing those legs together. Super. Now I'm going to do upward facing dog using the chair. And then we'll start to shift the energy back down. So I'm facing the chair. Facing the chair here. I'm going to start by just bending the knees so that I can hinge from the hip and I can put my hands onto the chair. Now I've got my hands, they're in this position, so they're turned around the edges of the chair versus being flat on. So I've got them on the edge because that helps you to get your shoulders into a nice position. So I'm going to put my hands on the edge of the chair. So my thumbs are facing forward, my fingers are down the side of the chair. That's the position. Then from here, I'm going to take the right leg back and the left leg back, and I'm going to start in a high plank. So maybe you could come and join me into this. Hands on the outside of the chair. Find a high plank. We'll start here. Pull the shoulders away from your ears and just walk your feet in so your chest is over your hands. I don't want you to be in this position. Walk your body forward, chest over your hands. Great, that's it. Now from here, squeeze your bottom and just lower your hips towards the chair. Don't bend the arms though, you've got to protect your neck. Arms straight. Lower your hips towards the chair, grip your bottom, grip your thighs, shoulders back, heart up. Grip the bottom, grip the thighs, straight arms, and then release, bring yourself up. Walk your feet in. That's enough of that. I know you might have felt a little bit of pressure in your hands. It's not a bad thing. We're coming down onto the floor, please. Salabhasana. Continuing with the extension of your spine, which is really great at invigorating your energy. So let's lie on the front of the body. Arms down by your side. Palms of your hands face the ceiling. Now grip the bottom, please. Front of the hips into the floor. Lift the chest off the floor. Please look down at the earth. Keep the back of the neck long. Your hips are down, your legs are down, your bottom is deeply engaged. Now can you lift your hands off the floor and your arms and reach your fingers towards your toes. Now variation today, keeping the squeeze on the glutes, keeping the legs down. If you can, interlock your fingers behind the body and squeeze the shoulders towards each other, keeping the arms straight, lifting the arms. Keep the glutes squeezed so you're protecting your lower back. Look down at the floor so you're protecting your neck. When you've reached fatigue, you take a break. There's no extra points for suffering. Release and lower down. And we're going to try that one more time because it's so good for the health of the discs in the spine, and it's a fabulous pose for helping your posture. So the foundation is to grip the bottom to stabilize the pelvis. Legs are on the floor. We're going to lift the head and shoulders off the floor. We're going to make sure we're looking down at a point on the floor so the back of the neck is long. Relax your jaw, relax your throat. Lift your arms off the floor. Reach your fingertips to the toes or interlock your fingers. Pull your arms straight. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and lift the arms. Now this is just a variation of Salabhasana, and this is the variation we're doing today. Please feel free to modify, rest, change it if you're not happy. Keep the grip on the bottom. You should feel the front of the pelvis on the floor. And right now we're invigorating the spine. And now release and lower that down. Super. Tuck your toes under. Bring yourself up. Resist the urge to fold forward as I'm going to try and exploit that lovely extension we started to create. And we're going to use our support. So taking your large towels, if you could please roll them up. So it creates a nice big sausage roll. One of them rolled up across your mat. The other one folded, please, as that's going to become a support for your head. I'm going to place that towel about 8 inches away from the roll, and then I'm going to open the chest. I'm going to be in a position where the roll goes under the shoulder blades, but can you see how the back of the shoulders and the back of the arms are not touching anything? They're going to hang in that space between the two blankets. My head goes on the other support, and then my legs go out straight. And I feel fabulous. It's such a lovely pose for your posture, fixing all that round-shouldered, collapsed breastbone. Posture that most people tend to hang in these days. You know, when we're worried, the head hangs down and the breastbone collapses. And the challenge with that is that when we move into that kind of body shape, we actually limit our ability to connect to our own power because we're closing ourselves in. So today it's been all about finding your power. And in this pose here, we're opening your heart chakra. We're bringing the heart chakra up and the ego down. Fabulous spiritual pose. Now from this position, can you please bend your arms and let your arms fall back into cowboy surrender. So you get a little deeper stretch now in the shoulders. You're also stretching your chest. And this pose, anatomically, it's releasing or stretching the pec minor. And the pec minor helps to stabilize the arm in the shoulder socket. Problem with that, when this muscle group gets tight, it pulls the arm forward. That will cause friction in the joint. It will aggravate your rotator cuff muscles, and you'll have a rotator cuff injury. So if you could stretch your pec minor every day like this, your shoulders would be so much healthier. Just going to take a couple more breaths here. Let the shoulder blades melt into that support. I know your shoulder blades might feel stiff and firm. And that's because we're trying to bring them into neutral. We're trying to undo faulty movement patterns. Trying to improve mobility. A couple more breaths, please. And then we're going to bend the knees. Bring the arms down by your side. And you're going to roll to the right, come off of your support. Might feel a little bit stiff in the middle back. Okay. We're going to have our final pose, and we're going to stay in this final pose for Shavasana. And so if you do want to put another layer of clothing on, or you want to put your socks on, feel free to do that. I would put my socks on, but it looks like my dog has stolen them. My dog loves socks. Thankfully, he doesn't eat them. He just steals them and buries them. Okay. So, final pose. We're actually going to do a Setu Bandha, a passive Setu Bandha for our Shavasana today. And we're going to use both towels, and we're also going to use the strap. So you can take your towels, you can bring them, you can roll them, or you can tri-fold them. I'm trying to get a long rectangle with a little bit of height. It could be, if your towels are nice and thick, you know, you could end up rolling them and still get some kind of thickness. You have to lie on this with your spine. So if it ends up being too narrow, it won't feel good. So you can roll or you can tri-fold, just so that you get, what is that? Is that about 6 inches, 8 inches wide? And then it's going down the center of the mat, but I'm going to leave a space, and that's going to be for my head and shoulders. So my head and shoulders won't be on the towels, but my spine will be on the towel. Then I'll get the second one and do the same thing again. And I'll pop that at the end. So it'll be my feet, my legs, my bottom, my shoulder blades, and then head and shoulders will be on the floor. Okay? And then if you could please take your towel. And then I'm going to grab a blanket to cover myself. So I've got a strap, and I'm going to tie the legs together. And the reason I'm going to do that is just so the legs don't flop apart and change the position of your lower back. So sit on top of your supports and just bring your strap and tie your ankles together any way you can. If you've got a belt, a scarf, or a yoga strap. We do have yoga straps in stock at the fitness center if you need one. I think they're $12. Now, on your supports, you're going to position yourself so the edge of your towel is in your bra strap. Gentlemen, I know you don't wear a bra, but you've probably undone a few in your lifetime, so I'm sure you can guess where it would go. So, bring yourself into that position where that towel is right in your shoulder blade area, and then your head and your shoulders go on the floor. Then your legs go out straight, but because you've tied them together, they're not going to flop apart. And then get yourself all nice and comfortable and cozy. So I'm just going to show you again so you can see that position. The edge of the towel is right opposite my breastbone, and my arms and my head and my shoulders, they're heavy on the floor. What we're trying to create is this elevation of your heart chakra and this humbling of your ego. So that means your heart is slightly higher than your head. Again, another great pose for helping to correct that round-shouldered forward posture. Close your eyes. Let the eyes fall back into the eye sockets. And remove all of the expression from the face. Relax the forehead. Rest the tongue to the bottom of the mouth so the jaw can hang loose. Let go of your jaw. Relax your neck. And invite the shoulders to fall back. Encouraging the shoulders to become heavy. Encouraging the shoulders to let go. And as your shoulders fall back and the breastbone rises high, notice how fabulous you feel. Relax your fingers and your hands. And notice how fabulous you feel. And as you rest in your breath, I'd like to remind you how magnificent you are. We all have potential amounts of energy and strength deep within us all. If we can make the time to be quiet and still, your energy, your power can rise. As we bring the awareness back to the body, moving the fingertips and the toes, and to bend the knees and roll to the right hand side, bringing yourself up. And just sit however you feel comfortable. Bring the length to the spine. Bring your palms together. It's traditional to end in this final pose. As you bring your palms together, you're trying to create unity between the right and left sides of the body. As you bring your thumb to your heart's center, you're trying to create unity from the exterior world to your interior world. Bow your head as a symbol of humbling the ego. As we rest in this final pose, remember your inner strength. It's there for you. You are more than just your physical body. We are all strong. We are all magnificent. Namaste. Lift your head, open your eyes. Thank you. Thank you so very much. If you have any questions, do let me know. I do hope you all receive the updated virtual schedule, as there'll be no classes happening in the studios. All the registered programs will be going virtual as well. So Sydney, I know you're in my chest and shoulder program on Wednesday. We'll do that through Zoom, and I'll be emailing you a code for that. Any of you that are registered in any of the other programs, Janine's or Natalie's, I'll be emailing everybody and sending you your Zoom codes for your registered programs. So we have no excuse to stop. We just carry on, rise above it, and keep ourselves moving, keeping ourselves strong. That's the key. And then, of course, you've got all the virtual classes as regular on the drop-in schedule. Thanks, Anjali. Glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you feel invigorated. We need it. We so need it. Thanks, Karen. Glad you liked it. Thank you, Karen. 2 Karens on there today. Thanks, Maxine. Glad you enjoyed it. Any question? I'm cold. My basement's cold. Ugh. Should wrap up a little bit better next time. So we also have yoga tomorrow. I don't know whether you've seen that, but we do have a flow class tomorrow with Agatha. And we also have Pilates tomorrow at 10:15 with Nicole. So a few extra options. There's a total of 31 virtual classes a week now. So we're going to be so strong after all of this. That's what I hope. Thanks, Denise. Glad you enjoyed it. Nice to see you. Okay, everybody, I hope you have a fabulous weekend. And I will look forward to seeing you again soon. I'm going to end the program now.